Before the video begins, I wish to put a spoiler warning for Chainsaw Man, Demon Slayer, and also the God of War video game series. Welcome everyone. Let us talk about writing flawed characters. In this, I'm going to take a few examples from different characters to prove a point. The first one being Kratos from the God of War series. To the people who don't know much about the games, it's about Kratos, the main protagonist of the series, known to be the god of war, also known to be the god killer, taking revenge on Ares and other gods for basically manipulating him to committing atrocities until his own family grew horrified by his actions. Unfortunately, he was tricked by Ares into killing his own wife and child, branding him the ghost of Sparta, with their ashes fused to his skin. With this, in the PSP games and the PS Vita games, he sent into a vengeful quest to kill the gods who tricked him, one of which is Ares himself, making Kratos claim the throne of God of War. Then, in the PS5 games, God of War and God of War Ragnarok, with the death of Faye, a woman that made him find love once more, and the birth of his son, Atreus, you can see Kratos struggling through grief and self hatred as he tries to redeem himself. With his character, you can see him being very flawed. But why is he likable? In fact, I would say it's hard to find anyone that hates Kratos because of his flaws. You see, it is basic knowledge to writers that to write a good character is to write a flawed character, making them more human and more relatable no matter what type of character you write, be it an actual god. Let me take a scene from the game Ragnarok. In the last scene of Ragnarok, you see Kratos watch his son, Atreus, the son he grew to love and care, leave him for possibly the very last time. You see as Atreus leaves, Kratos turns around and you watch him struggle to hold back his tears. Even when he is left alone, he has grown to have this mentality of not showing such emotions because it is considered a weakness. But still, you see the tears welling up in his eyes as he turns away from the viewers. This is such a beautifully written scene they showed. A flawed character such as Kratos, struggling with his emotions even with moments like these when he's alone. I find it amazing because it's also very relatable towards the people who has the same struggles, the same mentality they had been forced to grow into the same way Kratos was. The best part about this is you wouldn't know how impactful this scene is just purely based off it. Don't get me wrong, a father saying goodbye to his son for possibly the very last time is very impactful. But this scene is so much more than that. You see a character like Kratos going through this journey of finding himself, redeeming himself, trying to find himself to be a father for Atreus, and you're watching these two separate for the very last time. Especially that hug they had before Atreus leaves. It is such an impactful moment for a character that is so well known and loved by so many people. But what about a likable character without flaws? In this part of the video, I want to talk about how a flawless character is considered bad writing. Most of these critiques are from the video of a YouTuber named Captain Mac. I'll have his video linked in the description down below. I highly recommend you watching it. Rengoku is a badly written character. This is because he has no flaws. A lot of new writers seem to want to write a character like Rengoku, where they are nothing more than a Mary Sue basically. The thing about a flawed character is to make the audience relate to that character. No human is perfect. There's no such thing as a flawless person, ever. This is why you need to write a character that is flawed to make them more relatable. When you make a character more relatable, you make the audience like the character more because of that. But why is Rengoku so well loved by the fandom? Well, my theory is that Rengoku is flawed, but the development of his character is just coming from nowhere. The thing about writing character development is you also need to make it on screen. Make the audience see the development of that character. Rengoku's development in the story is him not agreeing a demon being in the Demon Slayer corpse even after the leader corpse allows Nezuko to join. Him along with some of the other Hashiras don't agree with this, wanting death upon both Nezuko and Tanjiro. This is a pretty good flaw in agency, and I think that is what makes Rengoku more likable. Unfortunately, it wasn't executed well enough to be good writing. The next time Tanjiro meets Rengoku is in the Mugen training arc. In this arc, Rengoku is immediately friendly with Nezuko. This is what makes his writing bad. There's no on screen development of his character for him to change his mind when he was very hostile towards Nezuko on their first meeting. Koyoharu Gotoge, the maker of Demon Slayer, could have taken this and make it into something better. Let me take this from the video I mentioned earlier. Instead of making Rengoku friendly towards Nezuko, let Rengoku maintain being hostile towards her. When the demon that he is assigned to kill appears, they could make it so Rengoku was trying to protect the civilians from the lower ranked demons while also trying to kill Nezuko because he thinks that Nezuko is also trying to kill the civilians. Then slowly make him realize that Nezuko is trying to help them, leading to his death at the end being more emotional, more impactful for the character. With the current writing of Demon Slayer, it makes it obvious that Rengoku was written to be killed. Because of this, it made me not feel anything at all when I read the manga. When I read the manga, I didn't feel any sort of sadness or grief when I saw him getting killed. I mean, it wasn't logical for me to grieve over a character that I've only known for about less than 30 to 40 chapters. Even within those chapters, I couldn't understand him well enough to feel sad towards his death. Because of this, his death didn't feel as impactful as it should, which is so disappointing because there was so much potential to his character and what they could have done with him. These two characters, to me, are somewhat similar if you actually think about it. But you might argue that no, these characters are not similar at all. So, let's compare Rengoku to a character who is very similar to him. Himeno from Chainsaw Man. Himeno and Rengoku are very similar. So much so, the story they are in are also similar. They're both seniors, both have the same jobs to kill non-humans, both also had an underclassman that became their coworker. The difference between them both is that the creator of Chainsaw Man, Tatsuki Fujimoto, used the little chapters she appeared in to his advantage. He established who Himeno was to the characters around her, what her dreams are, and what she wishes to get at the end. He establishes her flaws as well. The first time we meet Himeno was when they had to kill a devil in this hotel. In that small scene of them meeting up, we know that Himeno is a very laid back character. She is also a person who taught Kobini and whatever the name of this guy was, which tells us that she is a senior of her job. I just also want to add that in Demon Slayer, I didn't even know that Rengoku used to teach Mitsuri. I had to learn that through the internet, but this was not the case for Himeno with Aki. When Aki wanted to use the sword on his back, Himeno knew that Aki's lifespan is going to be cut short, so Himeno was willing to stop him. This shows us that she cares about Aki so much she's willing to give Benji's heart to that devil. In the story, we're also shown that she seems very jealous of Makima because Aki is infatuated with her, showing us that maybe she feels something more towards Aki. Maybe that's why she cares so much about him. These are so much information given to us, but it's also given to us in a very smart way, to the point that her death came to a surprise to me much more than Rengoku's. With how well established her character was, I expected her to stay alive, or at least live longer than that. It was also because of this, when she died, it affected the story that you don't even realize. We are shown that Denji didn't even feel grief the fact that Himeno died, which caused him to go to Makima and set the story forward. We're also shown how impactful Himeno's death was towards Aki, that the only time we see Aki cry was because of Himeno. Thank you for watching this video till the end. This is just my personal opinion on the difference between these characters and how a character having a flaw or multiple flaws are better than a flawless character. I really wish I could think of a better character to compare to Rengoku to, because let's be honest here, this girl is at least a borderline PDF file. I know that there are people who are most likely going to be offended that I attacked Rengoku, and I do apologize for that. This is again my personal opinion, but I would love to hear it in the comments if you have anything to say. That being said, goodbye, everyone.